Welcome into the Tuesday episode of the David Hookstead Show. I hope you all are doing well out there. We have some fun subjects we're going to talk about today. Right off the bat, number one, we're talking about Elon Musk and Twitter. What else is new? Of course, it's always in the news. I encourage you all to read my story that I just put out this morning, my exclusive. So one of the things that's going on right now that's making waves is a former porn star. This is going to wrap into what we're getting here. Named Lisa Ann. She suggested that Twitter ban or heavily restrict pornography because right now, believe it or not, it's actually pretty free flowing. It's not like Instagram or Facebook where they have strict rules. So anyways, I reached out to my contacts, as any great journalist does, and spoke with them. I'm not going to spoil what their answers were. But you can read it on thedailycaller.com, whether or not porn stars think porn should be banned or regulated or restricted on Twitter if Elon Musk takes over. It's pretty interesting. The other thing Elon Musk did was he recently tweeted that, and I'm going to read it to you word for word. Twitter Avi, short for obviously, Twitter Avi has a strong left-wing bias in response to a tweet about verified users advocating for violence in the wake of Roe v. Wade likely being overturned. Look, I give all the credit in the world to Elon Musk because Elon Musk is speaking the truth. Twitter obviously has a left-wing bias. Let's talk about that for a second. Number one, the Hunter Biden laptop story was literally censored despite the fact we now know it was accurate. So Twitter stopped a story from circulating, from being read by voters, from being read by the masses who can make their own decisions about what they want because we don't know. We don't know why they did that. We don't know why Twitter decided that they had to run cover for Hunter Biden. We don't know why Twitter decided that a factually accurate story before the election wasn't allowed to run. Furthermore, let's not forget, people have been banned from Twitter for saying basic scientific facts. Most specifically on that would be the biology stuff. Are men men and are women women? Well, if you say that that's the truth, you can be, and we've seen examples of people suspended and or kicked off Twitter. Let's not forget, Tucker Carlson was violated the Twitter rules because he had the audacity to call a woman, and that wasn't allowed under the previous regime. I think that's kind of already stopped, though, with Musk coming in because they don't want to deal with any potential fallout. And then, obviously, we have all the COVID stuff. People who said that it came from a lab got in trouble. There's countless examples. And so Twitter pretty much more or less had its narrative. I got to be careful with the way I speak about this because this is all going to go out the window once Musk is in charge. And if you violated that narrative, then you were punished or kicked off or suspended or whatever. So we have to call that out. We cannot pretend like that's not the case. We cannot pretend like Twitter is not some cesspool of liberalism and censorship and cancel culture, because that is absolutely what it is. Now, with Musk coming in, I think that is certainly going to change because, as he has said, he's going to adhere to the laws of America. If it is not banned in America, he is not going to ban it on Twitter. If people want something banned in America, then they should go to their lawmakers and see if they can get it banned, and then he will adhere to those bans. But obviously, that's never going to happen, so we're going to have a much more free speech atmosphere, which I think is really good. And again, go check out my exclusive. Kendra Lust, big friend of the company. Kendra has been outstanding to us over the years. She came in probably 2.5 years ago at this point with me and Henry Rogers, sat down with her for an interview. One of the funniest interviews, probably the funniest interview the Daily Caller's ever done. Is it the greatest interview the Daily Caller's ever done? I'm not going to slap that on. It's certainly among the best. But that's hard to say because we've interviewed a lot of cool people. But she was super nice, super helpful for this article, as she always is. We've run a bunch of different articles with her. Big friend of the company. Anyways, I encourage you all to check that out. It's pretty good. All right, next. The Carolina Panthers are reportedly not completely out on trading for Baker Mayfield, according to Josina Anderson. The door is not completely shut. I'll make this quick and simple. The Panthers have no business trading for Baker Mayfield. None. Zero. Zilch. They absolutely should not trade for Baker Mayfield. They have Sam Darnold. Baker Mayfield is not, as far as I can see, a considerable upgrade. And they drafted Matt Corral. Matt Corral was a first-round talent who slipped to the third round for reasons that Ian Rappaport can tell you all about. I would ride with Darnold until you think Corral is ready to give the starting job a shot. He comes cheap. He's a third-round pick. slide him in there, see what happens, give him an opportunity. I mean, he's a great athlete. He's got a great arm, can make all the plays you want to get. That guy to me was a first-round talent, probably a top 15 talent-wise. Now, we can get into why he slid in the draft, and I'm sure people will debate that for a long time after, again, the stuff Ian Rappaport said. You don't gain anything by bringing Baker Mayfield in other than you take on another expensive salary, you take on another big contract. Do you really want to hamper the development of a guy like Matt Corral by bringing in Baker Mayfield? Are you even confident Baker Mayfield can beat out Sam Darnold? I'm certainly not. So why do it? Why bring that unnecessary headache? Why bring that unnecessary risk? Why bring any of that nonsense? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think you're going to see that teams aren't interested in Baker Mayfield because his talents, frankly, don't outweigh the baggage that comes with him. His talents don't outweigh the headache that comes with him, and his talents don't outweigh, essentially who he is as a player. Now, maybe Baker is a guy that you can hang out with, nice dude, and I'm sure that's very possibly true. As a quarterback that you're going to pay almost $19 million, who has been mediocre for most of his career, why put him in the same locker room that you're going to have Sam Darnold and Matt Corral? And to me, that makes zero sense. Finally, I like to always update you guys on what I'm watching, what I'm paying attention to. And right now, Under the Banner of Heaven, okay? It's an FX show that plays on Hulu. It's got Jill Birmingham, who's, of course, Thomas Rainwater in Yellowstone. It's got Andrew Garfield. It follows a pair. It's a true story. It follows a gruesome double murder in Utah in the 1980s. This show is the closest thing we've had to True Detective since the first season of True Detective. It is dark. It is sinister. It is unsettling. It makes your skin crawl. It makes you feel very uncomfortable at times. And frankly, it's one of the best shows on TV right now. Now, we shouldn't be surprised by that because Jill Birmingham and Andrew Garfield are both exceptional talents. But, man, when you watch this, you just get a very uneasy feeling. You get a very uneasy sensation around you. I can't recommend it enough, though. I think it is phenomenal. I think it is outstanding. Maybe don't watch it before you're trying to go to bed. The whole show focuses heavily on the Mormon church, and the main detective is torn between being a Mormon and being a lawman because the people who committed the crime, or people were being led to believe committed the crime, were an influential Mormon family in the Utah area in the 1980s. It's awesome. I've loved every episode in it. I've crushed all 3 episodes. Anyways, that's all we have for the Tuesday episode of the David Hookstead Show. I'll see you all back here Wednesday. Hey, and on the side note, let's keep our fingers crossed that the market bounces back because I'm getting gutted right now and you just hate to see it. Anyways, I'll see you all here back tomorrow for the Wednesday episode of the David Hookstead Show.